Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unsealed and Revealed. Woo! Claps! Yay! Everybody's excited. Yeah, I know that. Look at that. That was not sad at all. That was a very strong and powerful applause, and I appreciate each and every one of you for participating. I am your host, Jeff May, and I am very excited to be here today because I have with me, as always, our resident Sixth Scale expert, my co-host, and all-around good scoundrel to know, Guy Klender. Guy, hey.
How you doing, Jeff? Good to see you.
Oh, you know. Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's good to see you too, from a distance, but I cherish you.
Yes.
And of course, we have our absolutely fantabulous moderator, Cassidy, on the ones and twos. Now, Cassidy is going to be taking your questions, comments, and concerns through all live channels. Cassidy, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'm super excited to be here because Rocket is probably my favorite character in the MCU. So,
spoiler alert. Guys, Cassidy, very excited. She's taking all of your questions, comments, and concerns, meaning that because we are live, because we are going in real time, anything that you ask or say during this show will be seen by Cassidy, and she will relay many of those questions to myself and Guy so we can answer them for you as well. And Cassidy has mentioned this before, but I will do this for her. On Instagram, she will see you. She can't reply to you in real time, but she will see those and she will relay them to us because she's the absolute best. And that's what the absolute best do. As Cassidy said, we get to look at everybody's favorite trash panda, the Rocket Sixth Scale from Hot Toys. Now, this is the Rocket from Endgame, if I believe so. Is that right, Guy?
It is indeed.
And this has been a long-awaited piece. This is, we have the Infinity War one, the Endgame one here now. Very excited. A lot of people have been clamoring for this piece.
Yes.
And so I look forward to going through that. But first, so everybody is aware, you will see, just like last week and the week before, Guy is back in the studio. He has been for a couple of weeks, and he's feeling great, which is awesome. However, just so you know, everyone is practicing social distancing and being safe. That is very important to us. Super producer Sam, my man, is behind the camera more than 6 feet away, wearing a mask. No one else is in the studio with Guy. Shout out to super producer Sam. Always the best. And of course, we are doing our best to ensure the good health of ourselves and others. And of course, we hope that you are too. Now, that being said, as much as I like talking about staying healthy, I need to see this toy, Guy.
All right. Well, then let me show it to you. All right. So here we are. This is our traditional box style that we've seen with these. The box art on the front is actually a painting. This is not a shot of the figure or a still frame from the film, but it's a very neat painting that they've done on there. We've got that galaxy on the back, and then that A for Avengers in between. I want to turn it to the side here. We're going to also say Rocket. This is what they've been doing with those Avengers, is that side cut. Yep, pressed in gold. You've got the logo of the Avengers, logo of the Guardians, and down on the bottom, logo of the Avengers. So we're going to slide that out, take off our top sleeve.
I like that we're having this as part of it, like the art of the box, because one of the things that we've only kind of brushed upon it, but just a lot of collectors display with boxes. And,
yes.
And so we have a thematic thing. If you were to get, for example, all your Endgame pieces and they all looked drastically different, some people might be going crazy.
Yeah. So well, what's neat is that continuation of that side die cut on those. That really definitely. It's a matching thing, and when you're a completist, as I am with a lot of these things, to see a continuation like that is always a good one. So here we go, and we're gonna pull off our top tray cover. Here we go. We're looking at the upper camera here. You will have on the side, it's gonna be those instructions, and we're gonna take a look and talk about those as well.
Guy likes his instructions.
I love my instructions, but there are some important information to get in here. First up in this corner here, we have our Nanotech Gauntlet. Okay, and that's unique in a brand new style that we're seeing with this one here. We have his scarf, and this is a sculpted version of the scarf. On the other side, we have the cloth version of the scarf, and this does have a little bit of wire that's going to allow for posability. Up here, we have 2 pair of goggles, and it's really neat what they've done with those, and I can't wait to show you the unique little bit of science that went behind those ones there. You have his 2 large blasters, the 2 small blasters, his additional hands, and then
they have
our little guy here.
His little tool.
Mm-hmm.
They have armed him, huh? They
armed him up.
Him, yeah.
They definitely have. And so what I want to do now is pull out this weaponry here and show that off. Now the pistols are in, or blasters as we say, are in duplicate, so your right and left side are going to be identical. So let's take a look. You get, anytime that what I feel is like mixed metal, or you get the differential in color from kind of the darker grays to gunmetal colors to brass and copper and things like that, I always really think that's neat. And there's a lot. Rocket always had very unique armaments.
Yeah. Well, he himself is a weaponsmith.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's always doing those. And then the tips of those even have that blue oxidization from being fired over and over. There's the underside where, again, like I said, it has that kind of that brass look. These are the smaller pistols. Now these go into holsters that he has on both right and left side of his body as well.
Yeah, you can really pack him out. I mean, he's...
Oh yeah, you can take him out. And this one here is when he and Thor go off. This is the important thing they need to get.
Yeah, it's the power. Power? No, I forget which one.
Yeah.
The red one.
Yeah, the red one.
The red one. Good job,
the red
Jeff.
one.
Wait until you're...
There we go. But there it is in there, and you can. That is a translucent, so light does come behind it
cool.
as well. All right.
It's reality. I think it's reality.
Now,
okay, good.
Here is the next ones I want to show you is the 2 goggles. We're going to get more into this when we take a look at the head sculpt. But you have 2 goggles. And these are not a duplicate. They are actually done differently. And I'm going to put them down on the side so you can see that. You see this has more of an open and wider stance. This one here. This one's tighter. Tighter one to go up on the forehead, the wider to go on the eyes.
The one's for the face and one's for the wearing.
Yep. And there's a really neat way that you will not mix those up, and that is what I'm going to be showing you in a little bit. Then let's take a look at one that I'm sure we're all very interested to see.
Everybody wants their Nano Gauntlet.
Okay, Nano Gauntlet right here. This is the smaller version, when it would be more of the Tony or human size arm when he actually is holding this. Later on, when Peter Parker has him, and this and the other, that gauntlet is the larger size, but this is the smaller size.
It's adjusted to the Hulk size.
Correct.
Because the Nano Gauntlet, it moves to fit whomever puts their hand in.
Exactly. So this is the smaller variant of that, not to be confused with the larger one that you would see with Hulk and all. Okay, here is the inside palm to it as well. Now this is not articulated, and it is not a light up, and that's because the stones were never going, they weren't powered up.
When it's off, it's not going to be
correct.
on.
Correct. So it's not like that, but it doesn't mean that they don't have an iridescence to them. The light hits it. They're not painted. They're an actual crystal. And then let's take a look on the inside. Okay, it's got that kind of locking ring nanotech there. Okay, deep black on the inside. It is a hollowed piece, okay, so it's not solid on the way over. There's also no peg on the inside, so this is not something that you could put on another figure. I know that's something people might go, can I put it on a such and such, or can it fit on it? This is not made for that.
It's a prop. It's not
correct. This is made for the figure to be carrying it.
We do have one question from the chat. Blunder O'Funder from Facebook wants to know, are the gauntlet fingers posable?
No, They are a solid molded. So this is a solid piece as far as its posability. These are not an articulated finger. They're not articulated fingers. They are solid. Thank you for bringing that up, Cass.
Of course, thank you.
Our next two here, and this really kind of goes under the costume and wardrobe, that is going to be our sculpted version of his scarf. And you can see they've done that in that deep maroon, but even gone and done that deep work in to highlight the shadows.
Yeah, the weathering is really great.
Yeah, it's really, really, really neat on that. See how they've gone and done that on that. Now, if you didn't want to do a sculpted version, there is a cloth version.
This is an interesting choice, and I'm really into this because I'm guessing one is for standard posability and another is for action posability, but to allow you that option.
and there are some that really want all of the elements of their figure to be more of a sculpted.
We've noticed that in the past few years that dynamic posing has really sort of blown up in the collecting market here, and Hot Toys sees you.
Yes.
Like everyone, Hot Toys sees you, and Hot Toys is going to accommodate you.
Now, lastly in our tray is going to be our little hands. Okay, there's a right with more of a trigger finger version, a left with trigger finger.
Oh wow!
And more of a left in a type of clasping or gripping, but non-trigger finger. Okay, there's no index finger extended on that. Okay, so those are our three hands. You get 2 additional pegs as well. So let's take a look at Rocket and get into that. So I'm going to move these off to the side for a moment.
Yeah.
I am going to leave out my two...
Your 2 sidearms?
My 2 sidearms, as well as the 2 goggles. All right, so let's take a look.
So I have a question for you, Guy, and this is because this kind of touches on something we talked about a couple weeks ago. I want to talk about weight.
Excellent.
Is he like a heavier? Like what? I mean, I don't know. Heavy. It's not like he's made out of lead, but like, what do we got? What are we thinking of here?
I am glad that you bring that up, and I am going to help out with that. This is something that, because I know this is a figure that a lot of people are going to ask, can I mount him on other figures? Can I this, that, and the other with him? I have brought along my digital scale here, so let's take a look. We're going to put Rocket right on such, and we are pulling in. Don't know if Sam can see that there. Well, you're not seeing the display. Oh, okay. Yep, we can see it in the overhead. It is a 3.6 ounce figure.
Oh, okay.
So he's very light. If you want me to put Nano Gauntlet and weaponize him, and we'll weigh him again at the end, fully loaded, we can do that as well. But he is a lighter figure.
That's great because that I think maximizes the posability of the character, which we had talked about a couple weeks ago when we had that Gonk droid. And it's like, why would you want that solid? And I guess that makes sense here with Rocket. Yeah, why would you want that? I actually really like with the design that it sort of has the retro comic, because that costume that we're looking at right there, it kind of reminds you of that, or like the Volume 3, Guardians of the Galaxy's Volume 3, that blue and red sort of vibe that we sort of carried with us in the comics for quite a while. So to see that in the on the toy and in the film was really great.
Now I love it, and I want to get back to the weight, and I'm really glad you brought that up. Particularly when we talked about like the Gonk and some of the others, is even though this character is lighter, he does not feel flimsy in any way. No. You'll see right now I'm not using a stand, and this is right out of the box this way and just set up. But he does have some neat balancing elements, one being the tail. Okay, this tail is ball jointed, 360 degrees.
I was wondering about that.
So when you're posing him, you will be able to do all different kind of things. So depending on the pose that you want, remember, this is also giving you that additional balance that you can move back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to leave him in an up point for now while I take a look at the next. Why don't we try and do a close-up, and we're going to take a look at our head sculpt, and I'm going to show off our next bit here. Okay, so we're going to stay on this shot for a little bit here. The hair, so delicately and finely sculpted into there. It even has a very soft feel when you're doing it, which is neat.
Oh, you're fitting him like drag.
Exactly. But that soft look. You've got his little individually added whiskers.
That's what I wanted to really know about. What's the feel of the whiskers?
Okay, the feel of the whiskers is very soft. These are they're not a microfilament, but they are a thin thread. They are going to hold their place like that. They are going to stay straight out. It sounds funny. They're not a posable element. Okay, and I bring that up because one of the things you're going to see in the cautionary tales of our instructions here are that his whiskers, his top shoulder, and the outfit are a non-removable, and to be cautious about that. So they're not something you're going to be moving around.
We do have one question about the whiskers. Do we know what material they're made out of? Yes, Stephen from Facebook wanted to know.
I'm going to go with pure magic. No, I really don't know. They, when I rub my finger over them, they are soft, okay? But they're also holding their position. This is not something that with me touching it, I've bent or knocked them back. So they do stay out there. There, let's see if I,
They look like paintbrush.
There we go. Let's see if I put a dark behind there, you can kind of see.
We can see it with your T-shirt.
Oh, okay, good.
Like your T-shirt is actually, or your hoodie.
Oh, good.
Is,
yes. Yeah. See here, you can see how there's a nice side angle. Okay, on there. Since we've got that there, well, let's take a look at that. The back of the head there. I love the little ears and the paint on that. Not again a solid color. There's a lot of different colors and washes over this figure to give that hair a very, very realistic.
Yeah, that looks great.
Okay. You have a neck joint down here that's going to be for inside the body, and then the upper for up here as well for posability. Before I get into moving the head around, I'm going to spin it back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the goggles. Okay?
You can't wait to get to these goggles.
Because I really think it's neat. I expected that there was one set of goggles. But these are slightly different for going over his eyes or going on top of his eyes. Now, they've been magnetized, all right? We've got a little magnet that you can see there. Here's what's interesting. Science of magnets. You need the two poles, a north and a south, and they have to go together. If you have two north, they will actually repulse. So this technically has Tony Stark's repulsor ray. They've given you, and we're going to go to the overhead so I can pop these on and we can hopefully see a little better. I'm going to move tail out of the way. Our head here. If I take these goggles that are the wider ones, they will magnetically attach.
Attach, yeah.
Okay. If I take the ones there, magnetically attach. Well, I'm going to take these ones and I screw up and try and put them there. They won't. They will automatically push it to the right spot. So it makes you put them in the right spot. So you don't have to worry like, darn it, I put the tighter glasses on and I scratched him, or nope, no problem at all.
You see that? We have a little learning.
We've got a little learning. And there's double goggling. There we go.
Wow. We go crazy with the goggles.
A little crazy goggle. But what I think is really neat is not only that there are the two sculpts and you have the option of going up or over, that this is a magnetized variant, and that they've done it that they foolproofed it. Nope, we're going to make sure that you don't put the wrong ones in.
That's brilliant.
Which is a really, really cool idea.
Shout out to toys. That's very clever.
Yeah, it's a very different thing, and you didn't have to go that way. Now there might be comments about, there's no strap around there. I rewatched the movie about another 3 times. I love watching. I actually did them both together, the Infinity War right into Endgame this weekend again to prep for this one here. But I did want to take a look and say, do I ever see elastic of the goggles really in the movie? And you really don't. In fact, when we get the close-ups of him coming out in the very end like this, it is hidden by the hair. So I think that's just kind of where they've gone with it. And I appreciate that, because you wouldn't really be able to have an elastic on there that, we saw with the Han and some of the others where they've created a divot, but you wouldn't really want to do that. So I think it looks great this way here.
Well, it's funny too, because if it was meant to be screen accurate, they just would have done that.
Right, exactly. That would have been what it was.
This is screen accurate.
Yeah, that's what they do. Now, while we've got him here, I'm going to lift up the arms. This shoulder pauldron that he has is attached to the suit. It is not a removable suit. It is a softer material, and so when you lift it up, do not be worried that it's going to scratch and damage your figure. Mm-hmm. Now that I've got that open or up, I'm going to swing his gunslinger pistols into each side. Okay? These ones are the ones that'll go in. Also in your instructions, it's telling you the larger ones, which I've pointed next to him, are not to go into the holsters. It's just a heads up. I'm happy that they're telling you not to do it, so you don't go, oh, I thought it fit either gun. It does not.
So now, for those of you, by the way, who are joining us, I think this is a good time to say that we are now looking at the Rocket 6th scale figure by Hot Toys from Avengers Endgame that we are going through. And just as a heads up, if you do like what you're seeing, which you do, because Guy is amazing, and you want to see more, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and hit the reminder bell, that notifications bell on our YouTube channel, so you'll get notifications and you won't miss out on any of that content that's coming out. I do have that notifications bell, and it's always a delight to get a notification on my phone that my own show is about to start.
I like those.
So I click that notification bell. There's a lot of great shows. A lot of great content has been coming out of Sideshow, especially since the beginning of spring. So definitely make sure you have a chance to do that. Hit subscribe and then hit that notifications bell. Also, just so you know, we have a lot of live streams. We have a lot of giveaways going on every week. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at Collect Sideshow or at Sideshow Collectibles on Instagram, so you can stay updated. Yeah, that's look at that. I did my thing.
Well, thank you for doing the thing.
No, it's important. I mean, I get the notifications, and it's important for me because I like to do the Get Super workouts.
Yes.
With G, and I like to know when those are coming and have all information, or if I want to watch the comics haul. Or if I want to know that one of my product videos is up. I like to check it out because I'm incredibly vain and a huge narcissist. Now that being said, you have Beheaded Rocket.
I have. This is what you're going to need to do. There's but this also shows that we do have that ball jointed head as well with the figure. Okay, I have gone and placed over it, gently drop down, the sculpted version of the scarf. You see, it has a nice sculpted snug fit down there. It goes just right on there. There's not gaps or anything like that, other than the fact that it's going to have the loose there, but it's not flopping and flailing around at all in that sculpted version there. Okay. It's a very neat version that you've got there. Now you also have this one here, and this scarf here has wire in it, so I can do any of my poses with that. Now there is wire that goes all the way around. Okay, so completely in it. If you wanted to, I'm not going to, but if you wanted to kind of undo it and change it all around, you could. But there is, when you have that wire, you're going to adjust it however you like. I'm actually pretty fond of the sculpted at the moment, so I'm going to put that one back on.
Yeah, they both look great.
I like that they have both. I do.
Well, let's leave Terry Smith in the How to Be a Poser.
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna see which one he's.
I have a feeling he'll go with the wired cape.
He does tend to like the wired, so I think he's going to appreciate that that's in there. But that is that one on there. When I talked about the hands, we have that slightly more open hand, and that's for holding.
There it is.
That one there. And I will take out one of his guns and do.
Yeah.
And that one there you've got there.
Poor Jane Foster. She had one heck of a day.
It was, yeah. That was a case of the Mondays, I guess, for her. But those are what you've got there. Now, let's put Rocket's head back on and do a few things that I have a feeling we're going to have. There we go. Pop, right back on. And we're going to take our arm. Let's take a look at our articulation. We can pull that out to about 90. Now, this is a rubberized suit, so you're going to have a little bit of pushback when you do it. There you go.
Kind of like, is that like the Spidey?
A little bit, yes. And
look at
that, huh, Jeff?
Look at that. Look at that. He's holding on.
Isn't that fun? So I can just, I just kind of put it under there like a small kid going to school with their book binder.
Guy, is that how the Nano Gauntlet is intended to be held? Is sort of like an underarm carriage?
I think he's used, when you see him with it, he's got it that way. The thing flies all over the place, but a lot of times when they're carrying it, it's almost a very football esque kind of thing. When you see Peter has it, and Captain Marvel and Black Panther, they all kind of are doing the bit of running it down to a goal line style.
On the product page too, he at one point has his arm in it. There's like a gallery photo of that.
Okay.
Yeah. I do have one question from the audience about his just the suit and the fabric material it's made out of. You said is rubberized.
Yes.
Is it all rubber?
Well, let's take a look. I wanted to put the gauntlet in there and show that one off, but let's take a look, and we're going to talk about the suit. We're going to talk about its points of articulation as well. So thanks for putting me back on topic, Cassidy.
Good transition.
You're welcome.
Shout out to whoever asked that question.
Jack Fortuna on YouTube. Thank you, Jack.
Well, anyone who can stop me from meandering all over the place, it's a good thing. So.
It's normally my job, but I was involved in the meander.
you helped me to do it. So let's take a look, and we'll go down head to toe. We've got our ball jointed head. Now we saw that from when I went and put the scarf on. See, I really love the paint job that's done on the sculpted scarf like that. It's just very, very different. Then we've got the other articulated point of the neck as well. Okay, and that's allowing me to go a little bit further down in bends like so. As far as the arm, I have up to about 90, as I said. And then our arm can double joint up. Okay, and then we've got our standard wrist peg turn as far as that there. Down in our waist, let's take a look at that. I did tell you that the tail is fully posable. There we go. We've got a bit of trunk bend as well as waist. Now there is a little bit of padding because of the rubberized style suit. It's really the pad of the suit, not the body that I'm feeling that's padded, but it is right there. Let's put that arm to the side and as we prep for Joshy G, we should do some old-timey stretches.
There you go. Let's get those
old-timey stretches. So we can do those. For Terry Smith, do not worry. We can definitely spin that waist.
There you
turn
go.
that off to the side.
A wake spinner.
Yep, exactly. Now, the suit, as I said, is not a removable suit, and it is quite snug on there. I'm not concerned about it being really fragile or anything like that. It will probably tell you, like many that are done in this type of fashion, to not leave something in a dynamic pose for too long. My most common thing I'm telling everybody is, that's fine if you want to do a dynamic, but, change it up. Go from dynamic, go to neutral, change it. Have fun with your figure. Take it out of the box, or take it out of the display case or off the shelf once a month and give it a good play.
Yeah.
Arms will go back when we need and forward where we need as well. So we got a good shoulder there. Leg. You've got your side twist if you need. Your forward. Now these are a tight joint on the leg. I think you probably heard a little bit of movement when I did that.
I'm hearing that. It's definitely audible.
Yeah, the joints of the leg are a little bit more audible. That's fine by me. Okay.
Yeah, that's not the worst thing to have.
No. When I have that, I you can kind of know what it is, and also that means that those leg joints are going to stay. So there's our down to the 90 there. We've got our standard football joint or ball foot joint. Now,
yeah, I was going to say football joint.
Football joint. Well, I did say, they're running down the field goal. You also have another articulation point, and that is on the front part of the shoe. I'm going to move that to the side. Okay, we've got, it's also articulated there that it'll bend up. Now, it'll also bend downward a little bit if you need. And because he did have those gripping rodent feet, that would be a way in which they could do it. And this is going to allow you, if you're posing it standing up on something like that, could always have him stand at the top of the gauntlet. Or
that seems reckless.
Yeah, that seems reckless. Or on top of another figure, things like that. So I'm going to move those down. Since I do have the shoes there. Yes, sir.
While we're here, what do you say? We do a little tread wash.
Oh, tread washing. Tread wash time. There we go.
Let's see what we got. I bet a lot of people aren't going to have that, but he's got some good tread.
He does have some good tread on him, and that is boom on both. He's got a little bit of dust and dirt on them as well. So they've beaten them a little bit as well, giving it a little bit more life to the figure. I love the colors. You get that brassy yellow here, that maroon that's in the wrist gauntlets and the piping of the outfit, as well as his scarf.
Strong primary colors there.
Yes. Yes. They're also around the knee pads. Now, and I'm going to point out that the knee pads are not glued on. These are actually a movable piece.
They're
okay. So know that when you're doing it, that's just one of those small tweaks that we talk about with the adjust your figure to be. Here, I'm trying to look at the monitor when I do it. Where you do it. But that way when I'm bending him, I actually kind of place that last element where he needs to be.
Yeah, that makes sense too. You want maximum posability, so
exactly.
What does it hurt to have? Hot Toys spends a little extra time making a movable knee pad, and in the end, what you get is a much more posable figure.
Yes. Now, Cass, can you tell me, do we have any questions, or are we just making sure I'm clicking the boxes here?
We do have a few questions. So Evil Ackers on Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group wanted to know how articulated is the tail?
Oh, okay. I'm going to spin this around so you can see. This is a full 360. Okay?
Yeah, there's no...
But you can also kind of go up and down. It's not that it's just spinning, okay? But I can also kind of drop it down further toward the floor, hike it back a little more upward, spin, so quite articulated. It is not a articulation in that curve. There's nothing like that, but it's still quite articulated, so you can give him quite a bit of life, throwing it off kind of on the side there.
There's no joint in it or anything like that, right? Though
there's no joint in there. There is a one ball joint that is on the connection point in the very back. All right.
Perfect. Cool. I have another question.
Yeah.
Jack Fortuna on YouTube wanted to know if the guns are made out of metal. I believe they're not, but
no, they are not a die cast, but they have an incredible look of metal. They've gone with that kind of dual metal look. You know what? Since you brought up the guns, I said let's see if he changes weight if I put him with all of his stuff.
I really think that Guy wants to get a maximum amount of work out of that scale.
Well, okay. When I put guns and goggles and gauntlets and everything else on him, 4.5.
Wow, you're adding a whole ounce.
A whole ounce. 1 additional ounce if I outfit him with weaponry as well as the large accessory. The gauntlet itself is probably the heavier part of that, but I want somebody to know that if they're talking the dynamic. I know there's probably a lot of concern about something this small. Can I still do all of the things I want?
We did a rocket last year, I believe, on this show, and one of the things we talked about with the weight and the process was we had our poor Sebastian Stan, our Winter Soldier. Yes. Holding him up and doing that. Now, do we have, because he was like riding War Machine, right? Iron
Yes,
Patriot?
He rides Iron Patriot out of one of Doctor Strange's portals. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up because I have in studio that figure, the Iron Patriot from Endgame, is still not out yet, but I do have another suited character from that time. And so what I want to do is kind of work with him
so that's the Infinity War Mark 50.
This is the Mark 50. Yeah, this is a really neat one.
We love that one.
Yeah, I totally dig this one. So what I'm going to do is kind of work with him. First, let's discuss bases. Okay, we've seen the dynamic stand base before. Rocket does have one as well. This is the Rocket base. Okay, it has the Avengers logo, and then inside the Avengers logo, the Guardian logo. It is a dynamic. Now, this particular dynamic is a smaller dynamic. Okay, this is a short stand. Okay, now this is the same if you that the other Rocket characters have had. Now, his clip is what I want to show. The clip here that goes with the figure is a smaller clip than what you have on one of the larger figures.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's a smaller figure.
Exactly. Makes sense. Now, that being the shorter one, the shorter stand, could I just put Rocket, could I put the clip on a different dynamic stand? Could I have the Mark 50, can I put it on that dynamic stand to get a little more height? And the reason I bring that up is that no, there is a different size on those, all right? Okay. But that does not mean that if I have a stand like this, I couldn't use it to support him up. But what we're going to try and do now, thank you, Tony, I love him 3000, is to try and get a little...
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is different than the Iron Patriot. I'm really excited.
Yes, now the Iron Patriot has angles and is he's got chunkier and they're more actual pieces, where the nanotech, is very sleek.
Yeah,
but
I was going to say that.
I can still. Let's see, I'm going to move that off to the side. What I'm going to try and do here is do him on the base here and then kind of turn him around. Oops.
Iron Patriot has those like the lat muscle, like that collar.
Yes,
that
yeah,
collar
and
arm.
I know that this particular figure has been teased to be on Patriot, and so that's why I kind of wanted to show him on a figure. This also gives you a nice version of scale. But Iron Patriot has those angles that are more gripping, more climbing. But even on a sleek suit guy.
Oh, look at that. He's like, this is my son.
Okay, yes. And
so
I can, because I have the little toe articulation there, I could, also, drop it down where it kind of is on it.
I'm sure that will go well, yeah.
But yes, I'm kind of doing it completely behind myself there. But
I mean, I'm glad that you did that, because I was wondering. I don't know when the Iron Patriot will come out, but when it does, you 100% can believe that we are going to throw one of these rockets at it.
Yes.
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 There's no chance at all that we won't.
Right. We'll not put him back that way. So, but it's
such a.
It's just a fun thing to know, and I had a feeling. I don't know if anybody's asked it, but I had a feeling people might want to know. Will I be able to do it with my other figures? So yes, you have your own display base that he comes with, but that you could use to kind of get a little bit of height to go to that. I would probably just use it kind of put his feet on, but I felt pretty comfortable with where he was there. So, Cass, did anybody ask about that, or did I just kind of think they would?
Someone did ask earlier, JJ Joe on YouTube, but you pretty much answered the question.
Oh, good.
We do have a few more, though. Kenny Gonzalez on Facebook wanted to know, is the belt rig made of pleather or plastic?
Nope, it is a plastic. As far as anything being made of fabric, the only thing that we have out of fabric on this one here is going to be the cloth variant of the scarf. Cloth variant scarf has that.
Perfect. And then username pending on YouTube wanted to know how much movement will we get on moving the legs outwards? So could we do a split?
Doing this close to the split, yeah.
Oh, a side split?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on a second here.
I'm assuming those bolsters kind of might
impede that a little bit. They are rubberized as well.
Oh, that's surprisingly more articulate than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, careful of that precious tail.
And let me kind of flatten out our feet a little bit. Straighten them up forward. There we go.
There you go. Yeah. Oh, it's impressive. That's
and then what I did is, again, the neat part about that tail is, it's kind of probably how a real raccoon would do it. It's a balancing piece. So you can use that to move the weight around and give yourself a good stance on there. But I don't have to drop it down to kind of use it like a tripod or anything like that, which would be something like that. But you don't need to do that. And hopefully
that's something we would have gotten out of our toys from like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, the 80s would have. Yeah, that would be that's how you did it. But nope, they've done better than that. So
nice.
Okay, Cass, next question.
This one is more of I guess it'd be like a trivia almost. I didn't know exactly how to answer it, but John Johnson on Facebook wanted to know, how long does it take to make one of these figures?
Oh boy.
Coming out to production, I mean, I've seen sculptors take weeks and weeks to work on a piece, and that's just the sculpting. You can only imagine.
Yeah, you have a huge amount of sculpting, and then in things like this, when they're a different scale than say the standard, you've got a whole new development in how is the body going to be there. So a lot can go into it, and that's why I know. Collectors, we get so excited about wanting whatever the item is. I don't want to wait a whole nother year for it, but you think of all of the work that's got to go into that, and I'd rather wait and have something be spectacular. Like with that, the Hulkbuster was years in development, but when you finally saw what he did, it blows you away.
It's funny too, because we oftentimes sort of ignore the art process that goes in towards making these, and the amount of time it takes to do concept, visual design, then sculpting, then painting, then cut and sew for the outfits, because there are people that are tailoring these outfits. And then you have to get licensing approval, and then you have to get prototype visuals, and then you have to send it to factory processing and things like that. And then you have to get quality control from there before you can approve of mass production, and then you have to get shipping. There's a lot to it.
There's a lot going into it.
I'm surprised some of them move as fast
as they do. Some of them you go, wow, that and that could be that. A studio or a film is very excited about something, and they get here, you've got a little bit of a head start.
We've been lucky enough to see the process at Sideshow, because we don't have access to the Hot Toys process, but I've seen a lot of the Sideshow process, and there are pieces where I see them getting sculpted, and I'm surprised to see how soon their release dates are from when I saw them in the sculpting process. To have to go through all the painting and all the it's really, really impressive, the amount of sort of cogs in the machine that make these things come out as sort of efficiently and just amazing looking as possible.
When we talk about like the paint and the fabrication, take a look at I love when I get asked the question, are those belts leather? Is his shoulder pad made out of leather? No. But it's sculpted as though it looks like it, and painted that it fools you to think it is. And that's just incredible work when we get to see that in things like this. I particularly, when I turn that and you see that belt, you'd think, you're like, well, no, that's a piece of leather. They made a really tiny piece of leather.
Yeah. One of the things that I truly miss about not being able to be on the campus is to see some of the artists and artisans working, because it is a sight to behold, and a benefit I know that I am very spoiled to receive, and I'm sure everybody in the comments can have a little bit of jealousy, because I used to almost every week be able to see what they were working on, and it is so cool.
It is neat to see how these go. So Cass, that hopefully kind of sheds a little bit of light on the long process that is involved in bringing these things to life.
That was very helpful. We didn't really have any more questions, but we did have Michael Rodriguez point out on the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group that in both the movie and the comics, Rocket has a metal plate in his head, so the goggles are magnetic. So I just thought that was funny. The goggles are already on there.
Spectacular.
That's such great trivia, and I guess that makes sense.
Thank you very much for throwing that out there. I knew that I was like, I don't see a band at all, and I love that. He's got the magnetic plate, so they would automatically magnetically connect to his head.
Yeah.
That's
that run, the Abnett and Lanning run, from what I wanted to say recently, but it's not as recent. My comics timeline is just, I'm like, that was recent. And they're like, it was 2002 or something like that. But,
well, it's new to me.
It's great. The Scotty Young Rocket Raccoon stuff was great. All the stuff that Guardians did was just so great. And then to bring Guardians of the Galaxy into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and have it sort of explode the way that it did. I mean, that year we got Cap 2, we got the Winter Soldier, and we got Guardians of the Galaxy within months of each other. And those are two
of the best,
of the objectively best Marvel movies that we have seen, and we got them within, I think, 2 months of each other.
Yeah, they came fast. So thank you for giving us the little heads up about the binocular. The magnets and the goggles. The other way to tell is, as I said, I love that they've given you the repulse, but if Sam gives us a little close up here with our head there, see how there's that little kind of groove divot and the wider, and that's so it goes between his furrowed brow.
Are you going to pose him with the forehead or the over the eyes?
You know, at first I thought I would probably go with the forehead one, but now the on the eyes is a really neat look that I love that I have the option. I love the fact that being the magnet and everything else, I'm not worried that, oh, I want to change it. I want to change it. And oh man, I'm really stretching that elastic, or oops, I might be scratching. I have I could change it every hour on the hour if I wanted. I'm not saying I've done that.
And I might. Like some of you are like Guy in that you'd be like, I'm probably going to do it every couple of days.
Every couple of days. Let's take a look. I really want to point out this sculpt. The paintwork and design in there, and the wild and wide mouth, and you've got that wet look in the tongue and on the teeth. It's really such a fun. You waited for those moments in the film where Rocket really just kind of went really aggro, and kind of started to lose it. And this is a fun into battle style pose.
It is. Let's hit Cassidy, see if she has anything left, because I think we're sort of working our way. Cassidy, you got any other questions?
Yes, one last one from username pending on YouTube. They wanted to know if the previous rocket head sculpts will fit on this piece as well.
I don't have those with me, so I can't tell you whether or not they could. As Rocket did change, however, through the films, I really wouldn't be swapping them for that reason. I tend to like to keep them exactly as be.
The other part of that is officially from our perspective, officially and legally has to be, don't do that.
Yeah. It's not something I do, and it's not something we tell you not to do that.
Is that going to change, however?
That was an accident on my part. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We prefer accidents to be.
Yeah, that's the man behind the curtain.
Yes.
Well, I mean, Guy,
I think we've told you. Unless there's anything that people want to know absolutely very, very specifically, I believe I've showed you most of what you can do with him until he's in your own hands and you play around even more. So
that is really great. Well, now that being said, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. You've been an amazing audience. We love those questions, comments, and concerns that Cassidy is relaying to us. So we want those. We always want those on all our shows. So please talk to us, or else it's just me and Guy talking over a toy, and that's only mostly fun. Now, if you're interested in any of our giveaways, we need you to come and join the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group if you haven't already. I know I'm a member. I know Guy's a member. We both post regularly in there. It's a lot of fun. It's a super awesome, very welcoming group with lots of Sideshow exclusive news and exclusive giveaways, which that's the one you want. Such as our hashtag Stay in Sideshow House of Cards challenge.
Yes.
What? Show us a photo of your best House of Cards type creation for a chance to win the Mystique statue by Iron Studios. Now, this contest is going to end tomorrow. That's Tuesday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you have less than 24 hours from right now live. You have like 19 hours. So make sure you enter soon before it is over. Tomorrow, scheduled for 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you join us for our all-accessible, no gym required workout live stream. Get Super with my man, Joshy G. I love these. These are my behind, let's see, the things I do. Third favorite thing Sideshow does. The check out Get Super with Joshy G tomorrow. Check out those workouts. They are such a blast. And I know if you're like me, going crazy and you need to, you're climbing the walls and you need a workout, these are a perfect introduction or continuation for any workout program. Guy, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
Cassidy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody, cast and crew, thank you so much. And of course, most importantly, thank you, the audience, for being with us on this beautiful Monday morning / afternoon, depending on where you are. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And as always, don't forget to let your geek side show. Bye.
Bye.